Building blocks, 2025 in Tel Aviv, the future of tech.
We're going to go down the row. Okay, I'll do a fast self-intro, and then we'll introduce our panelists. My name is Gordon Einstein. I am a crypto and blockchain attorney, originally from the US, originally from California, but I moved to Dubai 4 years ago, partially because I was a COVID refugee. But what really attracted me to Dubai and the UAE was the crypto and blockchain environment. I'm very happy to be back in Israel. The last time I was here, I think, was with Tzvi, our good friend over there, back in May. Was it May? Wow. And before that, it had been 30 years. So I'm going to try to increase the frequency going forward because I see the activity happening here, and it's very inspirational. Let's just kind of go down the row and introduce yourselves. And I'll take a seat.
There we go. This one? All right. Hi, everyone. David Namdar. I've been in the crypto space quite a while, almost from the beginning. I founded my first...
Are you Satoshi?
No, not quite.
Oh.
And I don't know who he is, or she. But so I founded my first company in the space called SolidX in 2014. It was a niche investment bank, second group in the world to try to do a Bitcoin ETF after the Winklevoss twins. And then the company I'm most known for, I founded Galaxy Digital in 2017, which is a slightly larger investment bank. We took it public in Canada in 2017. And then since then, I've moved to Puerto Rico from New York. I opened a crypto hedge fund called Coral Capital. I took another company public called Immutable Holdings. One of the subsidiaries was NFT.com. I was briefly the CEO there. And now I'm mostly an investor in the space and involved with some M&A and other stuff.
Yeah, hi guys, I'm Vikash Agarwal. I live in Dubai. I've been staying in Dubai for the last 6 years. I represent Sigma Capital. It's a Cayman-regulated fund. It's a $100 million fund based out of Midwest. We have invested in more than 300 projects in the last 4 years. Personally, I'm a Bitcoin miner as well, so I've been mining Bitcoin since 2020.
Hi, good morning. I'm Shmuel Abramson. I'm the chief economist at the Israeli Ministry of Finance. We do various things, including also looking at the crypto regulation in Israel. There's a lot to do. This is one of the things we also dealt with, and thank you, Gordon. Thank you, David. Thank you, Vikash, for joining us. I will have to apologize because I have to leave for personal reasons, and this panel was delayed, so maybe I'll take a few words and just we'll start for that.
Why don't we start with you?
Okay, so the panel is talking about the UAE. That's at least the title, right? The gateway to the East. So first of all, I want to say thank you. Thank you for the people from the UAE coming. It was a pleasure to meet many of you last year in Jerusalem, and this time again. I want to say the UAE in many ways is really a model for us. I think model for the whole world and for the whole region of the way things need to actually work and where our future might be. In many ways, even I'm saying it as an economist from the government, we're looking at the UAE with some level of envy, if you wish. And it's not only Israel. I think it's also Europe. I think it's also the United States, many countries in Asia, looking at the great things that are happening there. As an Israeli, also the friendship, the partnership, the way you're really acting during these very, very troubling times in our region, the clarity, the moral clarity, the understanding of the complexity of the situation, and really the focus on doing, not just talking, but actually doing, creating business, creating bridges. This is the title of this panel, The Gateway to the East, but it's also the gateway to the West, and it's the creation of the bridges you make. So thank you, and please pass that on to your firms, to your leaders in the UAE. It's very important for us, and we're really looking forward to enhancing that. Now, we all understand these times are tough in Israel, not only in Israel, in the whole region, but we are already starting to look at the day after. And the day after, I'm sure that the UAE has a huge, indispensable role. We hope that our warm relations with the UAE will also expand to other countries. But I think there's really no other country like the UAE. And we look at that, and we're looking at other countries, and you know the lists of the countries, but really what we see in the UAE is incredible. And it's going to really still be indispensable and unique. Even when we compare to the whole bridges, it's going to be really the pillar of the bridge. I was talking to Vikash about India and really creating this corridor from India through the UAE all the way to Israel and from there to Europe. So the UAE is really a key partner there. But also, when you look, I think all the region is really envying. And when I'm looking at crypto policy, it's just one example. But really, the ability to create a private sector that really works and runs, and the government can be very, very small. If you look at the numbers, everybody envies how small the government de facto is in terms of resources.
You have a lot of UAE envy.
Right, right. But it's appreciation and also the understanding that
Even
that
maybe
we
makes
have-
you feel better. The food is really good here.
The food is good here. Yeah, that's true. But when we eat kosher, then we don't have, at the end of the day, that many options. I want to say also one kind of thing to think about. Let's maybe say a few words on crypto. Also, the day after creates a lot of interesting opportunities for crypto. Think about Palestinian economy, for example, being cashless. Okay, that could create a lot of solutions to many of the problems of really eliminating the use of money to terror. So think about a digital economy. That's the future we need to go to. I think the UAE can have a lot of interesting roles in that area, and really letting the private sector run, the private sector in the region work better, learn from your experience, be it Jordan, be it Saudi Arabia, that really are working very, very hard to try to create a private sector, but they're behind. And same with the Palestinian economy, and of course Israel too. Now coming to crypto, I'll just kind of say a few words, and when we stand, Israel is kind of a tale of two crypto economies. One is the excellent innovation ecosystem, the very interesting fintech companies and other kind of companies that are related to crypto. They're doing very, very interesting stuff. And here I'm saying proudly as the government, we don't interfere too much and we let them work. And that's probably the reason that they are doing it so well. The other part of the economy is the part of giving services in crypto, and there we're unfortunately very much behind. We have a long way to go. Part of it is historical because very strong, uncompetitive dynamics, strong regulation, especially in the banking sector, but not only. And that, of course, is a hurdle for development. I do want to say that in Israel, when we have a problem, we also see it as an opportunity. So when you have such an uncompetitive and untapped potential, then maybe that could actually create some opportunities for investment and really bringing new players that can shake the industry. And I hope with our Emirati, UAE partners and other partners, we can bring in also international players or players that can partner with local players and really shake our local industries is something we need. So looking forward to enhancing this partnership generally with the UAE and specifically in crypto and digital assets. Have a good panel.
No, hold on. One more question. I'm going to elongate it for a moment here. But here, round of applause for the answer. So look, we didn't do a big preparation before the panel, but I just wanted to throw you a curveball, and then, you can pass it off for the next time, or just going to answer. So if Israel, you said there's the good part, which is the government's not interfering. There's the part where Israel sort of needs to catch up and be in the services area. If Israel lived up to its potential, obviously it's a small country, obviously it's an interesting situation. What's its ideal place in the ecosystem? Where do you see it slotting in? Where does it best add value, potentially?
So I think the private sector knows better than the government. I don't want to be in a position where I'll say where we can do it. But what we see is Israel's, what we call in economics, the relative advantages are all the areas of cybersecurity, AI, other kinds of innovation that are connected. That's definitely an area. We have good talent also in other areas. We have Jewish diaspora that can also be involved more and strongly if we open the borders, make it easier in terms of bureaucracy to act from here. So a lot of that kind of talent can be also here. At the end of the day, for the good and for the bad, we are a small economy still. We're growing, but we're not that many people. So we're not going to be the United States, and it's okay. We need to find where we can really innovate and create added value as a small player.
You know, there's the cliche of the 10x programmer or developer who's, you know, one person can do the work of 10 others if they know what they're doing. You know, I wonder if you have the 10x programmer using the 100x AI, whether you really need that many people anymore to accomplish great things. Maybe if Israel's at the forefront of the AI revolution, I don't know where it stands, but if it is at the forefront, maybe it can take a nation full of 10x programmers and make them 1,000x by boosting with AI also.
I think that's exactly right, and part of our ability and our economic success is our ability really to work globally with a small amount of talent, but very, very impactful. So AI in that sense is really a game changer, and I think you're absolutely right. It's fairly early to project exactly how we'll succeed, but we're already seeing those exactly the things you're saying of small companies, not many workers, creating huge change and impact. Thank you.
All right, I know you have a personal obligation, so thank you so much for the time.
Thank you.
Okay, tell me about Dubai and UAE. Why does it rock?
Dubai. All right. So for me,
And I love how we flew to Israel to talk about Dubai.
Yeah.
That's really polite.
No, but it's actually on a personal level. It's like I have a very kind of like genuine story to share about Dubai and what I've been seeing there the last couple of years. So I moved from New York to Puerto Rico 4 or 5 years ago. As I moved there, my father was from Israel, and so I've been feeling this pull and urge to spend more and more time here, and I always feel very at home here, which is special. I try to open up people's eyes to Israel and convince as many people as possible to come here. So I've been like self-appointed ambassador for Israel around the world. And what's happened when I moved to Puerto Rico, I thought I'd be spending more time between Milan, Tel Aviv, and Dubai, each for different reasons. And unfortunately, in the last 3-4 years, Dubai's been winning, right? And I'm the one example of that. Like, it's pulled me there because Dubai has become the best expat city in the world. Like, some people know about it. Actually, just as a show of hands, who's been to Dubai and who's, okay, maybe 20, 30%. And
Who wants to go to Dubai? Okay.
And so Dubai, it's become one of the best environments in the world because it's open for business. Post-COVID, they've been winning this global game of attracting the smartest and richest people and some of the best looking people around the world. They realize that, like, the same way if you have a street of restaurants, right? The one that looks the best, has the best menu, and then has the best ingredients is going to be the one that wins over time. And so that's been Dubai's approach to kind of this global game of competition between different countries. And so, for the good thing about it being so close to Israel is actually there's a lot of that we'll get into through the panel, a lot of opportunities for Israel and the UAE to kind of grow their relationships, and on an individual level for people to benefit from going out there and taking advantage of some of the business environment there.
And what do you attribute? I like the restaurant analogy, but taking a step back, it wasn't always this way. Taking like a 10 or 15 year reverse view, how did Dubai or the UAE grow into this role? It's a competitive world.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is where, like, I remember I started my career in Hong Kong as an expat there, and that's why I kind of tell people I'm a New Yorker and an expat more than even American. And as I spend time in all these different cities around the world, Hong Kong and Singapore were two of the best expat environments in the world, and they really run more like businesses than countries even. And they've succeeded at having this longer-term vision of where they wanted to become. The UAE, back in 2000 to 2010 period, was still like a very fringe place that most people were afraid of going to. Most people weren't taken seriously. If you went and were doing business there, right, it was almost looked down upon. It's still, even I'd say...
It was also before the Abraham Accords.
Yeah, but not just for Israelis. I'm saying, like, on a global basis doing business... excuse me. On a global basis doing business in Dubai, people looked at with a little bit of skepticism. And then I think really around, like, a little bit before COVID and probably 17, 18, they realized the need to open up on a global basis and attract better and better quality people. And so they've kind of, through the benefit of central planning and having this long-term vision, they've realized they wanted to do whatever it takes. They started to make it so that, the lessons in 2007 and 2010, after the financial crisis, all the first wave of expats that were there and knowledge workers, there's stories about people having to leave, their visas weren't valid, and people were leaving their supercars, Ferraris, everything at the airport because they had to scramble. They weren't allowed to stay there anymore. They learned from that, and they made it so that, all right, well, if we attract smart capital and talent from around the world, we need to have people confident they can stay here. right? And so in 17, 18, they changed the rules a little. They started to give out more visas. Now they're making it, every year they're giving out 50,000, 100,000 golden visas. Anybody who wants to come there, right, they're greeting them with open arms. Oh, okay, you want to come here, you want to open a business here? Great, like we'll help you do it. Here's a golden visa, stay as long as you want. Stay a week, stay a month, stay years, right? And so by doing that, like, and that's something I've been trying to kind of impart in my interactions with the government here, that Israel has an opportunity to do the same thing. People around the world want to do stuff here, right? And they need to be a little better about opening the doors and welcoming and capturing and inviting people to come here.
What is your Dubai story? Tell us about yourself and your Dubai story. Loud and proud.
So I used to stay in Mumbai around 7 years back, and born and brought up in Mumbai in India. I wanted to do Bitcoin mining. That's what brings me to Dubai, to look for Bitcoin mining locations around Dubai. I find out the electricity is very expensive, doesn't work here. I got a good ecosystem for Bitcoin miners. Like when I started, I was very naive to this blockchain world around 2020. Luckily, I got the right people in Dubai who guided me right to find the good locations around the globe to do Bitcoin mining. I started with Bitcoin mining, and that is what brought me to the blockchain startup investments as well. When we talk about the ecosystem for Dubai for blockchain startups, Dubai is offering one of the best, I would rather say UAE. It's not only Dubai, it's Abu Dhabi as well. They are offering one of the best ecosystem for the startups to come over there and build up something. Like Hub 71 offers free spaces, staying with grants. You have the Dubai Innovation Hub, which have been offering an innovation program for the tech startups to come over. Like usually the company formation charges in Dubai is a bit expensive. That is a kind of a challenge for the startups to start the business there. But Dubai Innovation Hub has been offering $1,500 for next 10 years contract to form up the innovation startups. They are granting grants for the startups. So yeah, Dubai, I call it Dubai a smart city. They have been adopting since ages, like from being from the pearl merchant to a business, to a tourist place, then to after tourism, now they're attracting a business hubs. So it is one of the most adaptable city in the world. Maybe because of the bureaucracy lack, single point deciding, it's faster to get the access and the laws around. The WARA is something, is one of the first regulatory body, among the first regulatory body for startups and crypto in the world.
Fair enough. And then what was your, I don't know if you said or not, what was your moment of decision when it came to Dubai?
Okay. Yeah. So obviously the moment of decision was tax-free environment. So to be true, yeah, because when we do Bitcoin mining, the revenues are high, and staying in India, the taxes are more. The India ecosystem is not very well developed for blockchain and crypto since ages. So Dubai was more promising. Abu Dhabi government was starting Bitcoin mining. They invested $2 billion into Bitcoin mining 2 years back. They invested themselves there. So they had a nuclear plant which was unutilized. They set up the Bitcoin mining around the plant, and they own 2% of the world hash rate now. Startup investing, they have been looking at blockchain. They have been attracting blockchain crowd around the globe. I would say after San Francisco, maybe Silicon Valley. For the entire eastern part, Dubai is kind of the hub which has been attracting with good policies and good ecosystem.
Fair enough. That's fantastic. Okay. Anyway, so I'll give my own little Dubai story. So I was in Los Angeles. It was during COVID times. Different things were happening, and I was like, "This is not so great." So a friend of mine who was in Dubai said, "Gordon, you should come visit and see what it's like." I said, "Sure." Because why not? Why not fly from Los Angeles to Dubai and spend 16 hours on a flight? So I flew out and testing. Okay. I have a voice that carries anyway, so it doesn't really matter, but it's okay. I flew out there and I saw that the crypto ecosystem was active. That there was meetings and people were getting together. And I'll do a little ethnic flair here. I was at a conference and there's too many people, and I kind of was getting, my introvert side was coming on, so I needed to go for a walk. So I was walking down the side of the hotel, and then I look to my left, and what do I see? I see an Orthodox Jewish wedding. Okay, and I'm like, you must be kidding me.
Okay, I'm from Los Angeles. I got the Pico Robertson area, but I'm not running into Orthodox Jewish weddings all the time, even in Los Angeles. And where do I have to go to find one? Dubai, okay, Muslim country in the middle of the Middle East. And this is, not right after Abraham, of course, but pretty shortly after it. I'm like, you must be kidding me. So I make eye contact with the rabbi, and comes out, and I go, what the heck is this? And he explained that it's actually easier for them all to meet in Dubai than anywhere else in the world, because this is the central location. So it's like, okay, this is a whole new meaning to Jewish geography. If the extended family is coming together for a wedding in Dubai. So it emphasized for me that the UAE is, they have a distinct, proud, and entrenched and capable local population, the Emiratis. But they've embraced a strategy, especially in Dubai, of growing their economy and growing their opportunities and growing their place in the world through having an immigrant population, having a visa holding population. And actually the non-Emiratis make up, I forget exactly the number, it's 80% or 85% of the total. And everyone is there on either a short-term visa or a long-term visa, and you're motivated to work for your place. And so when I was trying to make the decision about whether to stay there initially, and I was actually talking to a few Arab friends of mine, I'm like, what is it that makes Dubai so great? Well, why is this place, what do you need to do to succeed here? And they said, look, it's not a, if you have a lot of money and you want to relax, it's a great place to relax. If you're trying to do something, it's actually really good also. It is like this hyper-competitive capitalist meritocracy. Okay, there's a lot of people are a lot of show, no go, but eventually they get kind of washed out. And the people who stay are the ones who engage their network, add value, kind of build over time. And if you do that, this is a very welcoming environment. It's not the cheapest place in the world, but that in a way is kind of a quality filter. The way that they deploy it. You need to either have your assets coming in there or earn your stripes while you're there. But if you are there and you're fully engaged in the environment, you can go very far. And there's not there's no not invented here syndrome in Dubai, because most things aren't invented there. They intentionally brought in an international population. They intentionally brought in people from all these different countries, and they don't tolerate any racial or religious discrimination or hatred, because they're trying to manage this huge, diverse community. Everyone needs to leave their issues at the door or at customs. They're very strict about that. Everyone, you can practice a religion, you can be your ethnicity, you can do what you want. Everyone is meant to behave. Some people find it a little bit restrictive, but it depends where you are in your life and what's going on. If you're, trying to form a career and work with a lot of different people and raise a family and be safe and be happy, it's pretty good. Would you agree with that?
Incomparable to anywhere else in the world.
Yeah. Now, maybe this is going to sound really funny, especially here, but maybe it's a little bit too safe. Maybe you need to get out in the rest of the world every once in a while and kind of remind yourself what's really going on. But, I think news channels help with that a little bit. I feel like you want to comment.
Yeah. Well, so
This is Israel, high-tech economy.
I just went from 2 weeks ago. I went from Dubai to Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, and it
The safest city on the planet.
I have to say, and I absolutely love Brazil, and it's like, but it was a reminder. It was almost like a test of like real life, because even like as I'm walking down the street, just on my phone, a number of times I had random people coming up to me, telling me, well, put your phone away. Like, what are you doing? Because it's that safe and regular, that unsafe and regular for people to just grab your phone out of your hands. And
Can I jump in? The weirdest thing I saw in Dubai is that people, how people hold on to their table? They put down their phone, and then they go and order. Like, they use their phone to reserve the table. The first time I saw this, like, are you on drugs? Okay, this is insane. Like in Los Angeles, you'd be gone in 2 seconds, and they're losing. I got my iPhone 27, and here it is. It's like, it's crazy.
Yeah, but so I guess I want to take this like in some ways, right? So as I've been trying to open up, as I go around the world, I try to open up a lot of people's eyes to Israel, and I tell people constantly as I'm coming here, and I really like blast it on my social media and try to tell people, look, no, it's safe. Don't worry. Like, trust me. Just go there. Israel, I describe it. I came up with this term. It's like a beautiful chaos here, right? Where everybody's interacting. Everyone's like, because it's a very harmonious society. Everyone's equal. Nobody's going around thinking they're better than anyone else, which is a beautiful part of a society here. One of the nice things about Dubai, and again, they've created this framework where it's open for business. There's no other place in the world, and I spent a lot of time in a lot of different cities, and coming from New York and London and Hong Kong, where at night people leave, when you're out to dinners, when you're out to events, people step aside, they go into private rooms and they're sitting and having business conversations at all hours, right? Just right before I left Dubai a couple days ago, I had a close friend from Georgia with one of the former prime ministers there, and they were meeting somebody who was flown in from Uzbekistan. So they don't have any business. They could have met in one of their other countries, but instead they both flew to Dubai and had the meetings there, right? And so that's one thing that without going there and really seeing these nuances, it's hard to appreciate how Dubai has created this framework where it is the meeting place globally. It used to be New York for me. In New York, as I'd spend time there, everybody I'd want to see in the world, everyone I needed to, business-wise, would come to New York once or twice a year.
Let's do a test. Who would like to meet us in Dubai for a business meeting?
Yeah.
There you go. See?
Yeah.
Who wants to meet us in Warsaw? Right, exactly. Yes. Sure. Can you read it from the app? Can you do it?
Yeah, I can help you with that.
Read it to us.
Yeah, but we need people to ask questions, so.
Or can we do it directly from the audience a little bit?
Yeah, but the problem is that we don't want just the brave ones to ask the questions. We actually want those
Okay,
that are really
raise your
shy.
hand,
and
raise your
have
hand
no
if you're
fun.
super shy.
Yes, exactly.
Raise your hand if you won't. Okay, you look real shy.
Um,
So, do you have a Dubai question or a question in general?
אני אגיד את הוואי-פיי, זה בסדר. את יכולה להחזיר.
That's a great question. The economist was talking about that. I had the pleasure of interviewing him on my YouTube channel a while back. He was saying that part of what makes Israel good is the government staying out of things, like getting out of the way. And I can understand that. What can Israel learn from Dubai? I think having a clearer and faster, it's obvious things, a clearer and faster regulatory structure. Okay, and I'm from the U.S. Part of the reason why I'm not practicing in the U.S. is because the law, as it relates to crypto, at least before Trump, was not only non-existent, it was punitive, right? They wouldn't say what the rules were until you broke them. They wouldn't tell you what rules you broke, but they would still punish you. Okay, I'm not in this ecosystem. I don't know if it's that bad, but I think maybe there's not complete regulatory clarity. I think maybe the banking system here maybe needs to be improved a little bit. Now, it's not perfect in Dubai. Believe me, if you're a crypto company, it's not always easy to get a bank account. But I think maybe it's a couple generations behind here. I think, there's the aspect, don't worry, I know you want to jump in. There's an aspect of copying best practices, which I think a lot of people can do from the UAE. Oh, here's another one. The UAE, I actually talked about this during my interview with him. The UAE, especially Dubai, has a dedicated regulator for virtual assets. It's VARA, Virtual Asset Regulatory Authority. Okay, so there's not a commodities regulator and a securities regulator and a banking regulator and a this and this and this and a state and a local blah, blah, blah. There's like basically one door you knock on with the small exception that you also maybe talk to central bank if you're doing payments. So you have one phone to call rather than trying to weave your way through all these different regulators. I think crypto is complicated enough that you want to have one central authority because, so you have one person to talk to for efficiency reasons, but also so the authorities don't work against each other. Because if you have 10 different authorities each trying to carve out their zone and overlapping, sometimes you just can't satisfy them all. It's literally impossible.
No matter what type of currency it is, like stable coins or other kind of
I think it blends on the edge when it comes to stable coins because then you're heading into central bank territory. And that may be unavoidable. That was actually a conversation we had. But I wouldn't throw out the baby with the bathwater. I'd say in general you want to have a single regulator and then maybe if you can work it out, if you can be smart enough to work it out, maybe a co-regulation scheme between the central bank and your crypto/blockchain regulator when it comes to stable coins. Okay, but I would keep those. I would not keep the silos separate. I would, you need them permeable or you need them acting in tandem. Comment?
So I'm not much aware of Israel ecosystem, but when we speak about the Dubai ecosystem is more startup friendly, easy to form company. You don't have hustles in renewing or approaching them. They create a lot of events around the ecosystem for startups to get along. Now, when you talk about the token, VARA has basically DIFC and ADGM. They have regulated 28 tokens to be invested in. USDT and AED. Recently, Tether announced with Phoenix Technology they will be coming up with a stable coin, but as you said, the stable coin is more on the CED regulatories. The banks are not friendly as of now. If you get too much USDT to USD to your bank account, they shut down the account. Yeah. So
So just a couple things to chime in because we're short on time. So when we had come earlier last year in June and met with the chief economist and other stuff, I came up with this realization that actually Dubai or UAE and Israel are about the same size right now. Right? They're actually both about 10, 11 million people, about 50 to 60K per capita GDP, 500 to 600 billion GDP overall. Israel's actually higher, right? Over the next, and the growth rate's about the same, but the big difference is the UAE may have 3 to 10 trillion of financial capital behind it, and Israel is leading with its intellectual capital. I think Israel's, I'm biased here like many of us, but I think Israel's the richest country in the world in intellectual capital, right? Now, where the opportunity is for Israel is they need to have, right, and learn from countries like Dubai and UAE, where they need to set a longer term vision and actually then put in place things that just make sense business-wise, technology-wise, and to act like, how Israel considers itself startup nation, right? And that's a term they proudly say. The way I see it, it's kind of like entrepreneurship. It's like a startup sitting inside a large corporation dealing with bureaucracy and slowed down and regulation and headache, where the entrepreneurs here are just rushing to then go and start their own companies outside of this like a tough corporate environment. Whereas UAE is actually a country probably run most like a tech startup in the world, where they have financial capital, they've just raised their seed Series A funding, they have the capital, they have management teams, but they're missing the talent. Right? And so that's a big opportunity for Israelis to kind of take advantage and participate in that, but also for Israel to learn from them and modernize. We need people here in their 20s and 30s to go in and do stuff with what's happening with the Doge in the US and go in and like revolutionize the government here, and people to treat the government more like a startup and fight with all the older people and older generation that are resisting, make government paperless, make it easy. So as you have all this Israeli intellectual capital around the world, I know it's kind of sad. I know too many people, Israelis, that have left here and aren't doing any business in Israel. We need to make it easy for every Israeli around the world to open up companies here easily, hire people. There's certain cities like Montreal and Vancouver where they have a lot of grants for people. If you open up a company there, the government matches some of your R&D spend, right? So doing things like that so that any company around the world should be able to even remotely open up an office here, hire 1 to 5 people, 10 people, right, and come up with ideas like that to attract more of the capital here.
I think we're all attracted to the idea of building bridges between Israel and the UAE. That's why we're here. Okay, the goal is to, there's a natural synergy there. It's like peanut butter and chocolate. They just belong together. Okay, so Israel and UAE belong together. Things were on a slight pause because of political events and all that other stuff, but it never stopped even during this period, and now it's warming back up. So I think, the goal is not to extract value from here and bring it over there. The goal is to get circulating value back and forth for the benefit of both countries, I'd say.
So I would add to it. I'll just give a quick shot. Israel is more of a tech country. You have the best brain, best people around. Dubai has an ecosystem. Dubai is more of a financial ecosystem. You have all the world family offices coming to Dubai, setting up their offices now. So you have a single point. They have the best connectivity in the world, one of the best connectivity to fly anywhere. So what you can look at Dubai is basically take advantage what Dubai ecosystem has, and Dubai can take advantage of Israel ecosystem for the best technologies. You have 5 blocks. Israel is given one of the best technologies on blockchain as well to the global blockchain system. There's a lot of contribution what has come out from Israel. The benefits can be taken from both the side. That can be a best match.
Thank you, audience, for your engagement and questions. Thank you very much. We're happy to be here.
Building Blocks 2025 in Tel Aviv.